Welcome back to my channel. My name is Angel and today we are starting a vlog. Technically, we started this vlog like a month and a half ago, but I've been reading these books very slowly and over time. Very quickly, the concept here is myself and Michelle. This is mainly Michelle's idea. Michelle from Bookish and Michelle. We are doing a book swap vlog. So we each got each other 3 books off of each other's TBRs. So if you're interested in her video too, I do have the link down below. It was interesting to kind of buy for each other because Michelle has some overlapping interests, but we typically do like really good with buddy reads together. So it was interesting to kind of see where my books lie within her interests. So I'm really excited to have this vlog with you and I hope you enjoy. And then if you've not already seen Michelle's video, go see Michelle's video because also amazing. I love Michelle. Right now we do have a book depository box of things that my darling friend Michelle from Bookish and Michelle has bought for me. This part is just for me to open the box. I want to show you what I got and kind of react really quick to these. So we have that. Okay, first book is a hardcover. Oh, yes. Okay. This is one that she read recently. This is Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. And this fucking cover. Oh my God. Oh my God. So we'll read the synopsis together. Mary thinks she has got her wife back when Mary thinks she has finally got her wife back when Leah finally returns after a deep-sea mission that ended in catastrophe. Soon becomes clear, though, that Leah may have come back wrong. Whatever happened in that vessel, whatever it was they were supposed to be studying before they were stranded on the ocean floor, Leah has carried part of it with her onto dry land and into their home. Michelle had read this with the intention of getting like one of those underwater horror books. And so I'm very excited. I don't remember if they like loved it at first and then they ended up like kind of loving it. So excited. I'm so excited you got this one for me. Okay, on to the next one. I'm trying not to look. Okay, so the second one. What the hell is this book? Wait. Okay, so this is The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. And I have a feeling that this is just a book that I don't recognize the cover. So let me really quickly find the cover that I'm used to. Yes, okay. So this is the cover that I'm used to. I believe this is another one that, I mean, I think they've read all of these, but says eccentric genius Adam Bosch has cracked the multiverse and discovered a way to travel eccentric genius Adam Bosch has cracked the multiverse and discovered a way to travel to parallel Earths. There's just one problem: no one can visit a world where their counterpart is still alive. Of the 382 realities that have been unlocked, Kara is dead in all but 8. Born in the wastelands, Kara has fought her entire life just to survive, so when she's offered a job traveling the multiverse and a safe place to call home, she's willing to do anything to keep it that way. But then one of her... I'm not gonna read the rest. So, oh my God, this cover is so different than the US cover. But I really like this one. Ooh, okay. I've been reading some things lately that have had some like multiverse-esque things in them. I try not to say like a title, but something about time travel has always been super interesting to me, especially when like you run into the paradoxy parts of it. So, ooh, I'm excited. And the last one, ooh, it's a big paperback. Is this? Oh my God, it's the second book, isn't it? Yes. We have Redemptor. And it is Jordan Ifueko, and the first one was Raybearer. And these, oh my God, I'm so excited for this fucking cover. Okay, so Raybearer had this cover as the American cover. This might actually be the paperback cover. I don't think this is necessarily the UK one, but they had these gorgeous, oh, there's like even some like foil on it. I'm so excited. They had these really beautiful covers that came out after the fact, and Raybearer was a 5-star read for me. Let me actually pull up Raybearer to give you the description of that one, because I think I need to reread the first one before I reread this one. So we'll see how that goes. But for Raybearer, the first in the series, Tarasai has always longed for the warmth of a family. She was raised in isolation by a mysterious, often absent mother, only known as the Lady. The Lady sends her to the capital of the global empire of Aritsar to compete with other children to be chosen to be one of the Crown Prince's Council of 11. And you see the main character develop this like relationship with the other like people with power. So this is the sequel, which I have not read yet, and I'm very excited for. Thank you, Michelle. We have our 3 books, and I am going based off which one has an audiobook available right now because I want to eat and hang out for a little bit and probably do some color with me. So the one that I wanted to start with is actually Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. However, the loan came in too early, and so I delayed it, and now it's not available right now. God damn it. But this one's available all the time because it's not a newer book. So The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. I've really always enjoyed time travel or multiverse type books. And so I know that they take a bit of a toll on my, not mental health, but like my mental stamina. So I have a feeling we're going to read this one over the next couple days, and then you might not see me for a little while. But I am very excited. Time books tend to just surprise me and shock me so much that they're usually 5-star reads. So high hopes here. I'm already 20% in, and I just got to part 2, so I thought that would be a good place to stop. My gosh, I can see now why it's compared, or at least like the quote from Max Gladstone is on the back, the author of This Is How You Lose the Time War, because there is this like very gay yearning, and I don't know if it's going to turn into some sort of love story, but there is there's so much yearning, and it's just so gay. Like that's not the main premise here, but there are some other books that this is reminding me of, and I thought I would mention those. So the first one being The Luminous Dead, because our main character Kara is on this mission, more or less, like it's like an ongoing job rather, and for her, she gets put into these other versions of Earth, and there are only 300, well there were for her 382 total, and you can only go between Earths if you are not alive on that Earth anymore. And Kara, our main character, has a very high kill rate, and so almost every version of her is dead. So she can go around to a lot of them. You wanna come up, mama? Me and Bento have been cuddling for hours. Bringing it back to how it's like with Luminous Dead. She has kind of like a carer or someone she talks to back on her regular Earth. So when she travels, she has this person, which reminded me a lot of Luminous Dead, and brings a little bit of that like gay yearning into it because she's constantly flirting with her. But even between her and someone who's technically like her work partner, there is a huge class divide, a huge divide of money and like where they came from. Kara came from more or less the slums, and you see Dell, her partner, is like from old money, like generations back. That part of like the ownership and like using a different class of people, aside from just general like slavery, thinking of slavery in history, it reminded me a lot of The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, which dealt a lot with using people that had like physical powers for the betterment of maybe people that don't have powers and are more rich but also like weaker because they don't have powers, and so they feel like they're able to harness someone else's ability. If you can't tell by the amount I've already talked about this book, like I'm infatuated with it so far. There was like a twist so early, like the twist was like 20-30 pages in. Page 29 there was like a massive plot twist, and I was just like, what? It's so early. Like, what are you doing? Like, it did not need to pull me in curiosity wise so soon, but I was just so pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I'm just very interested. This is a good one so far. So far, this is like a 3.5, 4 star for me, if not 4.5. I made it to page 116. So a pretty huge dent. I've never read a book with so many plot twists so quickly. All I can say is that Kara is now stuck in a world, like a version of Earth that she was going to go and stay for like a few days there, and then she just gets stuck. Like something happens on the way in, and she now like doesn't have communication, or is choosing not to have communication because she still wants to figure out what's going on in this Earth. There's a lot more reveals. There was another huge reveal that was so interesting. Like I had to pause and re-listen to it a few times because I was like, how does this make sense? How is that? But it was just so well done. And we're starting to see a lot of overlap between how things are in her current world in like Earth Zero and how things are in this version of Earth. And just watching the overlap and like how she's working through things. It's so funny because I think pretty much, except for This Is How You Lose the Time War, every other version of like a time travel book has always been like from a male perspective, and like considering it's coming from a female perspective, she just seems to be understanding like all these differences so much faster, and I'm like, women are better. Something about it's like very high plot, but I still feel like I'm understanding our main character Kara. I find that the extreme like it's pretty not high pace, but a lot has happened in like less than half of the book. Like I almost feel like it's just like so high paced that the characterization and like me feeling connected to these people would be down at this point, but I still feel very connected to her, and I'm very invested in these different relationship dynamics that she's created. It's become a lot more about like the politics of this current world that she's stuck in, and you're seeing how it contrasts with how Earth Zero has transformed. And I think that the contrast is really interesting because she's like having to fight her morals against like, okay, well, this person was like very clearly evil in my universe, my version of Earth rather, but maybe they're not so evil here. Maybe I can trust them, or maybe their motives are better than they were. This has me so enthralled. Like I didn't anticipate liking it so much, but we're in that like 4 to 5 star territory right now. We are in the final countdown. I am on page 296. We literally have like 25 pages left. I had to do some like notes to Michelle because I some of the stuff going on is like just things that I can't fully explain without just spoiling everything. But to be honest, like everything about this book has been perfect. Like I have no complaints. I think it's interesting because I feel like it had a lot of really big climaxes and like surprises at the beginning of the book, and then you get to the latter half of the book and it's a lot more slow going, only because you got kind of bombarded with information and world building in that first half of the book. Usually I feel like that's done in a messier way, and I usually don't like a lot of world building, but I feel like the way that Kara was centered in all of it made you feel a lot more grounded, or it made me feel a lot more grounded. I'm eating it up. I'm just eating it up, and I'm just so excited for this one last final reveal, I guess, because we definitely have something big that should be happening like right here at the end. We're literally like in the ensuing moment where things are finally organized, and actually no, we're in like the pre-organization, so I have a feeling something might happen that'll make it happen faster. We're gonna hop in, finish the book, and I will be back to tell you my final thoughts. But I'm thinking 5 stars. Oh, it doesn't even know what to focus on because I'm just crying. Oh no. Okay. I haven't like actively cried while reading a book. Am I zoomed out all the way? I'm not. Okay. Oh my god. Michelle's gonna be so happy. What the fuck? I'm so angry. Bento, I'm so upset. Well, I'm crying. It's not a bad thing. Okay, I finished the book. Okay. What the fuck? Okay, it's 5 stars. We'll start there. Oh my god. Okay, so Michelle, you monster. I just finished the book and I can't tell you my full reaction, but that was a sniffle. For the last like 10 pages up until the last 10 pages or so felt like a little rushed, but that's okay because like it kind of happened in a way that like it doesn't need a sequel, so I'm very curious to see why there's a sequel. But like we got the ending more or less, but it wasn't as like final as I thought it would be. And then we got like a little epilogue, which, well, it wasn't an epilogue, that's what I'm saying. Like the end felt like an epilogue, but it, in actuality, like it just, because it was kind of rushed, like it kind of gave you that like end scene of a movie where you're seeing where everyone turns up, or like how everyone's lives turn out in the end. Amazing. One of my favorite books of the year so far. Of the year. Like we have a month and like a few weeks left. Oh my god, I'm so mad. I'm so mad. That's it. Okay. I will see you when I'm ready to read the next book. So I'm going to be starting Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. This one gives me underwater vibes from the description. Gives me those like underwater vibes of a few different books that I like. One of which I actually recommended to Michelle for her part of the vlog. So I'm curious to see what she thinks, but that's a totally different video. So it's been a few hours. I have almost finished this book at this point. It's so like, it's so different than the Space Between Worlds because there is so much less world building and so much more character study. I feel like there's so much more focus on Leah and Miri, our two main characters. I'm on page 190. I'm almost done. She's almost done. And there are a few books that this actually reminds me of in like the tone and like the general concept of like someone coming back changed. There is Sphere by Michael Crichton, which is about a group of people that go to the bottom of the ocean and they discover this thing. And once they've encountered it, they're all pretty much changed and they have this very paranormal sort of interaction with it. There's also Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer, which is very different, but it's also about like these scientists, and some of them are like just not in that field, but scientists go into an area that they know is very different and might be dangerous to go into, and then after the fact they're very changed. Aside from those two, there's also just, like I said, a lot of like character building, not world building. Like you are having a lot of moments of very intense body horror that I tagged throughout and were very traumatizing. Hi, are we not okay with being held? I'm sorry, I think I upset her for a moment. And there is also like just a general sense of unease because obviously like if you're claustrophobic and can't deal with reading about books about being in the ocean and it's completely dark, don't read this book. I feel like reading this one is a lot more vibes than like, oh, a great world, oh my god, the world building and the plot, blah, blah, blah. Like the plot is great. There's a lot of questions happening. But it also like feels a bit like Pisces, where it's just a weird story. Like weird things are happening, but I am really in love with the story so far. I have about half an hour at 2 times speed left in the book. I don't think my thoughts will change too much from how I am now. Some more gross stuff is starting to come out and I'm just like, how is this gonna end? Like we finally have a few moments of like, we might be getting answers, and there was a revelation of something said by someone in the submersible that I was like, yes, this is what I've been thinking and this is what I keep tagging in the book for, because I have like little sticky notes. I'm like, that's exactly what I was thinking. So I'm curious if those have time in the next like 30, 40 pages to come to fruition. There's just so much foreshadowing in both Miri and Leah's lives of like working in this sort of field and fish imagery and just water imagery that's really interesting and creepy. So I'm gonna dive back in, I'm gonna get the headphones back out, and I will talk to you again once I'm actually done. It is definitely several days later. I did finish it and I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 stars. It's so weird because it's a different type of 5-star rating than what I gave to the Space Between Worlds. These are two very different books. It really was like more built around a sense of like confusion and wanting and guilt and loss. But the end of this book threw me for such a loop. Like it felt very much like Pisces. There's no way that when I started this book, I thought it was going to end up where it did. This really took a weird turn, not in a bad way, but it was just a very strange book than the book that I started with. But our next book is a much more intense fantasy book, so that one will have much more thoughts. But overall, I love this one. Again, 2 out of 2 books so far. have been amazing. So thank you, Michelle. It's finally time to read the final book in this vlog. Nothing against Michelle's picking, but I'm not having the best time with Redemptor so far. So this is a sequel. I even read the first book. I'm a little lost because there's so many characters. There are a lot of subplots I'm just not remembering from the first one. I've read, in 2 sittings, I've read in a total 100 pages. And those sittings have been over like 2 or 3 weeks. I gave the first book a 5-star and I don't understand why I'm just not remembering it, first of all. Like, I just can't quite catch the pacing of it. Not a lot has happened. And like right when I stopped, we were finally getting like this initial like push. It's just a weird ride for me so far. So I'm not gonna really vlog as much of me reading this because I think I just need to power through, which sucks because the writing is beautiful. I'm listening to it as an audiobook and it's going pretty well. Too many characters for me. Too many characters, like the main characters are fine, but too many characters that are being introduced and kind of thrown in and out that aren't terribly necessary to remember. And I think this happened to me in the first book, but I was having more fun with the first book. With this book, I'm just feeling lost and unaware, and I feel like I'm kind of putting myself through something to try to enjoy it. Because of the concept of this blog, I think I'm going to try to power through. I have this entire weekend set aside for reading and enjoying time. So I'm going to try to get through this audiobook and share with you my final thoughts. And it might just be, it probably is just reader error in attempting to understand this one. As you're watching this, Michelle, please hold out hope. I know I've already kind of told you that I don't really enjoy it, but I think it's reader error. So I'll see you soon. This is not the outcome we wanted. Number 1, I would just like to say that despite me not liking this book, it is not Michelle's fault. Michelle, it is not your fault. I love you so much. I do not love this book, which I did discover, I think like this week, that you didn't read it either. So I'm okay with not liking it because you haven't read it. So you don't know if you're gonna like it. You'll probably like it. I feel like you're much more in tune to fantasy novels. So I made it to page 182, which is just about halfway through, and I'm going to DNF it. Coming to terms with some things about myself and my reading taste. Number 1, I heavily lean more towards sci-fi versus fantasy. I really like an in-depth, like technical analysis, detailed world around sci-fi, which I think we really got out of Space Between Worlds. Like, we got a very detailed time, space travel thing. Whereas fantasy, I have a much harder time grasping the concepts that are trying to be fed to me. And I really don't gravitate very heavily toward fantasy unless it's recommended to me. Here is a whole list of fantasy novels that are fantasy series beginners that I've read with my ratings. And if I can remember correctly, I had great ratings for them. I typically don't want a series because I'm not gonna read them in order, like back to back to back to back. And I have a tough time figuring out how to go about remembering the first book. I was like, oh, it's gonna be really easy to hop in. It wasn't. For me, it was really tough to parse through all the information about the different characters, the different world, the different, I know, relationships between characters, how the magic is supposed to work, as well as like having to remember the plot from the first book. Totally gone to me. It was a ride that I wasn't anticipating, and the fact that there was no easy way in. Like, I tried to look up a wiki and review all the characters. Even the wiki didn't have all the sub characters, which was really confusing. And then I tried to look up the plot, and the plots that I found were all over the place and messy and didn't describe what was going on. It's just not for me. Another thing that I'm starting to realize I might not like in books as much is some sort of royalty aspect where the characters have to either go away to war or go out amongst their people and kind of like talk to them and gain their trust. Like, I just don't care. I'd much rather have, if there's gonna be like a royalty aspect, something where the drama is happening in the court, not like out amongst the people that this person is leading. Nothing at the fault of Michelle. I think that you did a great job with picking this book for me. It seemed like it should have been something that I liked, but we've just unlocked something new about me. It's okay. We'll figure it out together. So the next clip you're gonna see is going to be me watching why Michelle recommended these books specifically to me. I'm just excited to see why she picked these specific books. Like, I think the first 2 made sense to me. This one might just be because, like, I think she also liked Raybearer, and I really loved Raybearer. So I will see you in the next clip once I have gotten that clip from her, and then we will either laugh or cry about why these were picked for me. Okay, we are finally ready to watch Michelle's portion of the video. Her recommendations, why she picked these for me. So I am going to play that, and I'm so scared. I'm so scared after having watched her video and how like weirdly off my recommendations were. And like, okay, anyways, watch that video after this one because I'm about to do this. So okay, let's go.
Hi everybody, and hi Angel. For those of you who don't know, I am Michelle from Bookishly Michelle, and I am here with a very special announcement. I'm not announcing anything, I'm just going to be explaining something. So, as you know, you're watching a vlog where Angel is reading 3 books. That's still 3 books that I sent her a few months ago at this point. And I am here to tell you and to tell Angel why I recommended these 3 books. So let's see if I can still remember my reasons, because I had some reasons, okay? I sent her 3 books, like I said. One was Space Between Worlds, I sent her Redemptor, and I sent her Our Wives Under the Sea. So I have explanations for everything. Let's go through it. So Redemptor, let's start with Redemptor for no good reason. Let's start with that. Redemptor I sent because I know that Angel really loved Raybearer, and I had just finished Raybearer at the time when I was ordering these books, and I also loved it a whole lot, but I was like, talking about it to you, Angel, and how we were saying that we never finished series that we're reading, and so on and so on. So I was like, you know what, let me do you a solid and let me send you the sequel so you can actually finish it. You can actually say, hey, I finished the series. That was pretty much the reasoning there. That's the only book that I haven't read out of the 3, but I figured I could do you a solid, I suppose. So I hope you liked it. I really don't know because I haven't read it. I really don't know how it went because you haven't updated me, which I have some feelings about that. But yeah, that was my reasoning for Raybearer. I just wanted you to be able to say you finished the series, and hopefully you liked it as much as the first one, or at least a little bit, like a little bit like the first one, who knows. So that was Raybearer. Let's talk about Our Wives Under the Sea next. So this is a book that I read this summer, and I really liked it, but I think it's really weird. This was kind of like my wild card because I feel like not everybody will like this book because, you know, it's written in a very speculative literary fiction way, and the plot is weird, you know, very ambiguous and vague things are happening throughout the novel, and then it has quite the abrupt ending that not everybody likes, as far as I know. But I figured, you know, I will do it because there are some things that I know that you enjoy, like the underwater horror and like creepy body things happening to people, and I figured maybe, you know, and it's beautifully sapphic, so I figured maybe this would be something that you would enjoy as well. But it was very 50-50. I know that you liked it, that's all I know. I don't know how much you liked it, but I know that you liked it and that you read it very fast, so I will take that. And I just hope that maybe you're also weird like me and it's like a new favorite, I don't know. And then we have The Space Between Worlds, which is a sci-fi space opera, like multiverse kind of book that is also sapphic. Nobody ever talks about the fact that it's sapphic, but it's sapphic as well. And I sent you this because I thought you would love it. That was my pick of Angel will like this. It just has a certain vibe from, you know, the books that we've read together and like the books that I know you've rated 5 stars. I just felt like The Space Between Worlds would be something that you would go hard for. So I figured that, you know, it's fast-paced, it has good characters, it is twisty and turny, and I just figured that you would like it. Like, this was my pick for like the best one, you know, the one that you will like and that you will give 5 stars to. So I'm curious to see how that went, honestly, because I can have my expectations and my thoughts, but you know, the reality is sometimes different. So I'm curious how that went. But yeah, that's my explanation for the 3 books that I sent you. I hope you had a good time. I know I did. And yeah, I hope that we can do this at some point later again. And yeah, thank you so much for doing this with me. And I will just be quiet now. Thank you, and bye.
Okay, that was perfect. I'm glad that like the reason that you, Michelle, she, Michelle, whatever, picked Redemptor is because we both liked Raybearer, and it makes me laugh that she kind of called me out and she's like, yeah, we never finished series. I don't know, maybe we need to read Redemptor together because I just wasn't in it. It was fine, but it wasn't gonna ever be like a favorite book of mine. And I kind of addressed this earlier, but I think it's just the nature of me with series. So it stinks that I had to DNF that one, but I haven't gotten rid of it yet. So maybe maybe we'll read it together when you're ready to read it, because maybe I just need emotional support to get through it. But the other ones were like spot on. Our Wives Under the Sea was so freaking weird. I tried to describe the ending to Jose after I finished it, and he was just looking at me like I was crazy. And then Space Between Worlds was phenomenal. Like, they were both amazing, both 5-star reads. But Our Space Between Worlds was just like, what? It was just so much and so good and so time warpy. But overall, I think you did an amazing job, Michelle, in choosing these books for me, especially hearing your reasoning behind the 2 that I did like and gave 5 stars to. It just made sense. So I don't count this as a failure, even for Redemptor. I still give you like 100% pass rate. I think you did amazing on choosing these for me. And maybe we need to just stick to ones that we've read to recommend to the other person. I mean, I know that one of the ones I sent you didn't go so well. My bad. I'm just so excited that some of my thoughts on the books lined up with why you recommended them to me. So that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much if you have watched this, aside from Michelle. Obviously, Michelle, thank you. But if you are not Michelle and you watched this recommendation video all the way to now, I really appreciate you being here as well and spending time with me, and obviously go spend time with Michelle on her channel and watch her video about this as well. Thank you so much. This has been an awesome experience, and I'm already looking forward to whatever we do in the next one. I'm hoping maybe we can do this like once a quarter. All right, I will see you in the next video. Bye.